Hey folks, this is HKPSG1 Shooter doing a video here about one of the dangers of bow fishing. It's called arrow snapback, and I recently had it happen to me, and it was a wake-up call. Now, one of the things that they do for bow fishing, one of the first things that they tell you not to do is to ever tie your line from your reel to the head of your arrow, because if it gets tangled on something, it can snap back, and then this is coming back at you. So one thing that they do is they make a device called an AMS safety slide, and basically it's just a bushing that slides along the length of the arrow shaft with a shock absorber on the end. And when I had my mishap, that's what I was using, was the safety slide. And this orange line here on this reel is 200-pound test. Now, I've shot bows many times out here in the salt water, and I have never had a snapback. I never had a snapback even before I was using a safety slide mechanism. I was actually doing the cardinal sin of tying the line to the end of the arrow, which you're not supposed to do. Anyhow, when I was using that safety slide, I had my string tied to it like I was supposed to, and the next thing I knew, I ended up basically eating the knock of the arrow in my jaw.
What the fuck? You okay? Hey, you alright?
Now, had it been a few inches higher, it would have been my eye. I'd be blind. Had it been a few inches lower, it could have been in the vein in the neck, and I could have bled out. Not cool. So, with that said, you know, I enjoy bow fishing, but not at the expense of losing an eye or being killed. So I got to thinking about it, and I said, now what can I do to guarantee that no matter what happens, that an arrow cannot snap back? And so my answer was a shock leader. And basically what this is a short piece of 20-pound test monofilament line that is tied to our safety slide mechanism with a loop on either end, just like this. And to that loop, we would tie the line from our reel onto this loop right here. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to allow this arrow to shoot normally when it's fired. The safety slide, of course, goes in front of your rest. Your line is tied to it here. Now, under normal conditions, when you shoot at a fish, or if you shoot and miss a fish, whatever, this 20-pound test, obviously this shaft doesn't weigh 20 pounds, so you're not going to break this line under that kind of strain. However, if something were to happen, such as, when you go to rewind this line and you miss something like this happening, gets caught on the back of the reel and you don't see it happen, no matter what happens, this shock leader will absorb that blow. This line will part, and it will allow the arrow to keep moving rather than coming back towards you. My thought on this is that it's better to lose an arrow than an eyeball, because I've only got 2 eyeballs. I can buy more arrows, and it's definitely better to lose an arrow than to have it come back, get me in the neck. Obviously, the accident that I had hasn't even left a scar. It was painful for a few days, but no permanent damage, but a very valuable lesson learned. So with that said, I'm going to demonstrate the use of this shock leader, and you're going to see how it works. And I would highly recommend this to anyone that goes bow fishing. So stay tuned. I'll show you this.
Okay, so obviously the first thing we want to do here is we want to take this 200-pound test line off of our reel, and we just want to tie a simple loop in this thing. Just a simple little loop knot, something that'll hold it, with a little tag in where you can remove it. Okay. And we're going to load that into there. Place that on our knot, place that in our rest. Now, I want to make sure that that's not in there too tight. I'm going to take my trigger here. Now, and you see that fired just fine. Line uncoiled. I'm able to retrieve it, wind it back onto my reel. Okay. I'll show that again with the other camera, just so you can see it a little better. Okay, so one more time we're going to take a look at this. And fire. And you see that fire just fine, no problem. Okay, so there's two shots there, and as you saw, it performed flawlessly. Line went out, stayed attached to the arrow like it's supposed to do. Works normally. Alright, now, the next shot I make, I'm going to intentionally wrap this 200-pound test line behind the reel, which would cause a snapback condition, except for the shock leader. You're going to see how that's going to work. Okay, not that I don't trust my own design, but I'm just going to put on my flak jacket and my safety shield just for safety's sake, because, you know, I've already been burned once playing around with this stuff. But I'd just rather be safe than sorry, especially knowing that I'm causing the potential for a snapback just in case some freak accident happens, because the way my luck is, you never know. Okay. You see that we have intentionally created a snapback condition here with the line all bird nested behind our reel. Okay? Which I believe something like that is what happened when I got hit. I'm going to pull it back, but I'm going to hold it off to my side when I shoot. Now watch this. Now watch this. And you see right here that our shock leader did what it was supposed to do. You can see it right there. The line parted off like it's supposed to do. And that right there just saved me. You can see here on the other end where the line parted from the extreme force. However, it did not slow it down enough that it didn't make it to the target, but it prevented it from snapping back. And so you know what? That's mission accomplished right there. I hope you enjoyed my demonstration of my little brainstorm idea to prevent any more snapbacks. Like I said, you know, having that arrow stuck in my face, that was a WTF moment for sure. It's never happened before. You know, I've shot thousands of times out there at fish, and I've never had that happen before. But at the same time, I've made the determination that it's never going to happen again, because that was too close for comfort. So I believe that the shock leader idea is going to work really good. I feel a lot more confident now about going out there and doing some bow fishing and not having to worry about being killed by my own arrow. I mean, that's ridiculous. But like I said, in addition to your safety slide, use a shock leader. And if you're not already using a safety slide, then you should strongly consider using one, or at the very least, you know, tie a shock leader onto your arrow, if nothing else. Because the shock leader in all cases is going to prevent the arrow from snapping back. So, happy archery. This is HKPSG1 Shooter. Thanks for watching. Signing off.